talking about civil disobedience? Well, we're giving it to them up in Maine. We're taking the laws right to them. We take our pot out and we go to the courthouse and we smoke it in front of them. And we tell them, take me to court because I'm not wrong, you are, and I'm going to prove it through the jury. And that jury's going to consist of maybe one of you or one of you, and they're going to set us free. Our legislators are pusillanimous assholes who are shucking their responsibilities that we voted them in for. Those people are representing us, and they're not doing a very good job. We all know the reason why prohibition is around, and it's just pure bullshit, and they know it, and they won't do anything about it because of the fuel companies, the petrochemical companies, and all of the people who are profiting off this. The only thing that they'd have insured is that there's hardly any hemp around, which is what this hat is made out of. 100% marijuana fiber. In Maine, you have to buy this hat from me because there's nobody else in the state selling them that I know of. But you can find pot on any street corner. And that's what they have ensured, is that pot will be around and hemp will not. The industry is what's gone, not pot. Pot is everywhere. Check your pockets.
Like Daily Radio Collective, I'm Chuck Yu. I should mention here at WMBR in Cambridge that the views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of WMBR, its staff and management, the Technology Broadcasting Corporation, or MIT.
I agree. This is the views for anyone who express their opinion about the way legalization should be freedom.
Yeah, well, this is No Censorship Radio, and we believe in freedom of expression, and that's what we're doing tonight, exercising that, and promoting a rally that's happening tomorrow on the Boston Common from noon until 5. We have all kinds of music, some of which you just heard, and all kinds of speakers. Some of them are here tonight. And let's turn to Chris Conrad right now, being that David was gracious enough to mention his book and his song. We have a book here called Hemp, Lifeline to the Future. It's the unexpected answer for our environment and economic recovery. And it's loaded with hemp facts, perhaps some 300, 400 pages here. Well, 300 pages. Maybe you can paraphrase 300 pages in a couple of minutes.
Well, sure. The basic message of this book is that hemp is our oldest natural resource. It's a clean way of providing the basic necessities of life, like food, clothing, and shelter, paper, plastics, and fuel, as well as medicine and social libations for people. And that it's we've got a potential to create about $100 billion worth of business for this country, 1 million new jobs, 50,000 commercial products, get our economy up and running, and get us moving again. The only obstacle in the way has to do with this ridiculous marijuana prohibition, which is being brought about by, I would say, rabid prohibitionists, in that they are kind of slobbering and ferocious, and they're chewing up our freedoms.
There are two kinds of prohibitionists. There are those who believe that the weed is an evil gateway drug, which is only leading to our drug problem, and then there are the others that are in corporations like DuPont, who would lose a fortune if we started making hemp paper and products like that. They would lose their wood pulping, processing patents. And
yeah, well, there's this kind of a convergence of special interests, which is not generally looked at, but which comes up with the industrial factories, the industrial factors such as the petrochemical or petrocriminal industry, as I prefer to think of them as well as the disforestation lobby and the prison industry. The prohibition industry is basically a full employment program for cops and prison guards and so forth that needs to be changed around. But the other side of that is people who have a quasi-moralistic point of view that somehow there's something bad about marijuana, and not only have they not been able to demonstrate that there really is anything bad about cannabis, consuming it that is, but essentially their remedy, which they propose being locking people up and taking away people's property and children and so forth, seems to me much worse than anything that cannabis could possibly do to an individual. And that goes to what its effect on the Constitution has been and so forth. And I think its effect, as far as the possible survivability of this planet, I think we have responsibility. A lot of what my book deals with, Lifeline to the Future, is that, like the name suggests, is something that's been thrown out to us that we can grab onto and pull ourselves into this next decade, the next millennium actually, because this is the year 2000 we're approaching before too long, and give our children a chance to have a world that's not polluted, that's prosperous, that can take care of the basic needs of the individual and provide reasonable, effective health care for people, and at the same time provide for liberty and justice for all the people of this country, as was promised these 217 years ago.
Promised on hemp paper, no less.
Absolutely. So what the book does is it talks about the historical aspects, it talks about the modern technology that's applicable to cannabis, it talks about the social studies and the research that's been done in that regard. And I think something that we could do right now per MIT is to challenge the engineering students here to come up with some new technology, because hemp has been kind of out of the loop of technology for quite a while, and so it's in a situation where it's a free market. If you can come up with a machine that'll decorticate hemp and process it into something, once it's legalized, you're looking at making several millions of dollars off of that invention. So this is a good time for the students here to really look at using their education to do something that's going to set them up for life and do something good for the world.
Wow, that's quite a challenge going out to you students here on the MIT campus.